The Eclips Girl. By Sylvester Sko. Fourroux. Chapter 1, The Invisible Girl. The hallway of Lincoln High School smelled like floor wax and broken dreams. Maya Rodriguez pressed her back against the cold metal lockers, clutching her worn backpack to her chest like a shield. Her dark hair hung in tangled strands around her face. She'd overslept again, and there hadn't been time to do more than run her fingers through it. No makeup. No fancy clothes. Just a faded hoodie 2 sizes too big and jeans with a patch on the knee that her mom had sewn on last month. "Look, it's messy, Maya." The voice cut through the morning chatter like a knife. Maya's stomach dropped. Jessica Hartwell, with her perfect blonde ponytail and designer backpack, stood at the center of a cluster of 8th graders. Her lip curled in disgust as she looked Maya up and down. "Did you even shower this morning?" Jessica continued, loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. "Or look in a mirror." Laughter rippled through the crowd. Maya felt her cheeks burning, her eyes already stinging with the tears she fought to hold back. She'd learned not to respond. Responding only made it worse. "Seriously, it's like she doesn't even try," added Brandon Mitchell, the star quarterback of the school football team. He stood next to Jessica, his Letterman jacket making him look even bigger and more intimidating. "It's actually sad. Maybe if she spent less time being poor and more time on her appearance," Jessica started. "Hey!" A strong voice cut through the mockery. "Back off, Jessica. Now." Zara Williams pushed through the crowd, her dark eyes flashing with anger. She was tall for 17, with her hair pulled back in neat braids and an expression that could stop a charging bull. She positioned herself directly between Maya and the bullies, arms crossed. "What's your problem, Zara?" Jessica rolled her eyes. "We're just stating facts." "Facts? The only fact here is that you're being cruel for no reason." Zara's voice was steady, controlled, but Maya could hear the fury underneath. "Maya's worth 10 of you, and you know it. She actually has a brain in her head." "Whatever," Brandon scoffed. "Come on, Jessica. Not worth our time." As the crowd dispersed, still snickering and whispering, Maya finally let out the breath she'd been holding. Tears spilled down her cheeks before she could stop them. Hey, it's okay." Zara wrapped an arm around Maya's shoulders, guiding her toward the nearest bathroom. "Don't let them see you cry. That's what they want." Inside the bathroom, Maya leaned against the sink, her whole body shaking. "I hate this, Z. I hate it so much. Every single day, it's something. My clothes, my hair, my face, the fact that we can't afford." Her voice broke. Zara handed her a paper towel. "I know. And I'm sorry. They're horrible people who peak in high school and then spend the rest of their lives wondering why nobody likes them." Maya managed a weak smile through her tears. "You always know what to say. That's what best friends are for." Zara squeezed her shoulder. "Now come on. We've got Miss Peterson's class, and you know she doesn't tolerate lateness." They made it to English class just as the bell rang. Maya slid into her seat near the back, trying to make herself as small and invisible as possible. That's when she noticed him, Daniel Chen, sitting 2 rows over, looking at her with concern in his eyes. The moment their eyes met, he quickly looked away, his face flushing red. Daniel was quiet, always had been. He wore thick-framed glasses and carried books about physics and astronomy. The other kids called him Nerd Boy or Calculator, but he never seemed to care. He existed in his own world of equations and theories, and Maya had never really thought much about him. She didn't know that Daniel had been watching her for months. that he saw past the tangled hair and worn clothes to the girl who wrote beautiful poetry in the margins of her notebook. The girl who always helped others with their homework, even when they'd been cruel to her. The girl who had the kindest smile he'd ever seen, on the rare occasions when she smiled. But Maya didn't notice any of that. She was too busy trying to survive. The Eclips Girl. Chapter 2, The Day the Sky Went Dark. The next few days followed the same painful pattern. Jessica and her friends would find new ways to humiliate Maya. Brandon would laugh along, making comments about her appearance. Other students would join in or watch, grateful it wasn't them in the crosshairs. And every time, Zara would be there, defending her friend with fierce loyalty. "You don't have to keep doing this," Maya said one afternoon as they sat together in the library during lunch. Maya couldn't afford the cafeteria food, and Zara refused to leave her alone. "Standing up for me just makes you a target too." "Let them try," Zara said, biting into her sandwich. "Besides, you'd do the same for me." "Would I?" Maya asked quietly. "I'm not brave like you, Z. I just freeze. I can't even defend myself." Bravery isn't about not being scared. It's about doing the right thing even when you're scared. Zara pushed half her sandwich toward Maya. "Eat. I know you didn't bring lunch." Maya wanted to refuse, she hated feeling like a charity case, but her stomach was growling. "Thanks," she whispered. "That's what friends are for." On Friday, their science teacher, Mr. Kowalski, made an announcement that actually got Maya excited for the first time in weeks. "As you all know, there's going to be a total solar eclipse on Monday," he said, pulling down a chart showing the moon's path across the sun. "This is a rare astronomical event, and I'm encouraging all of you to observe it safely. I'll be handing out eclipse glasses for anyone who wants them." Maya's hand shot up immediately. She'd always loved astronomy, the idea that there was a whole universe out there, vast and beautiful and far away from Lincoln Middle School. "Ah, Maya, I should have known you'd be interested," Mr. Kowalski said with a warm smile. He was one of the few teachers who seemed actually to see her. "Did you know that ancient civilizations believed eclipses were omens? Moments when the universe itself was transformed?" "That's because they didn't understand science," Brandon called out from the back. "Unlike some people." He was looking directly at Maya. "Actually, Brandon, many ancient astronomers understood eclipses quite well," Daniel Chen spoke up, his voice quiet but clear. "The Babylonians could predict them with remarkable accuracy. They just interpreted them differently." Brandon rolled his eyes, but Mr. Kowalski nodded approvingly. "Exactly right, Daniel. Science and wonder aren't mutually exclusive." After class, Maya found herself walking behind Daniel in the hallway. He was reading a book while walking, something about quantum mechanics, and nearly collided with a trash can. "Careful," Maya said automatically. Daniel looked up, startled, his cheeks turning pink. "Oh. Thanks. I do that a lot. Read while walking, I mean. It's probably dangerous." He was rambling now, nervous. "But there's just so much to learn, you know. And never enough time." Maya found herself smiling, a real smile. "I get that." "You do?" Daniel's eyes lit up behind his glasses. "I mean, of course you do. You're always reading too. I've seen you with poetry books. Neruda, right? And that collection by Maya Angelou." Maya was surprised he'd noticed. "Yeah. I love poetry." That's really cool." Daniel clutched his book tighter. "Maybe sometime we could." "Daniel. Hurry up," man. One of the other students from the academic decathlon team was calling him. I have to go, Daniel said quickly. But, enjoy the eclipse on Monday. It's going to be amazing. He hurried off before Maya could respond, leaving her standing in the hallway with a strange, warm feeling in her chest. Someone had noticed what she was reading. Someone had talked to her like she was a real person, not a target or a ghost. Was that Daniel Chen actually talking to you? Zara appeared at her elbow, grinning. Girl, I think someone has an admirer. What? No. Maya shook her head. He was just being nice. Aha. And the way he turned bright red and could barely string a sentence together. Stop, Maya said, but she was smiling. That weekend, Maya could barely contain her excitement about the eclipse. Her mom worked double shifts at the diner and was usually too tired to talk much, but on Sunday night, Maya sat with her at their small kitchen table and told her all about it. A solar eclipse, Mija. Her mom's eyes were heavy with exhaustion, but she smiled. That sounds beautiful. It's going to be amazing, Mama. The moon will completely cover the sun for almost 2 minutes. Mr. Kowalski said it'll be like night in the middle of the day. Her mom reached across the table and squeezed her hand. You're so smart, Maya. So much smarter than I ever was. You're going to do great things someday. I know it. Maya felt tears prick her eyes. I love you, Mama. I love you too, baby. Now go get some sleep. Big day tomorrow. Maya went to her small bedroom, barely big enough for a twin bed and a dresser, and lay awake for hours, staring at the glow-in-the-dark stars she'd stuck to her ceiling years ago. She didn't know that tomorrow would change everything. That the universe was about to transform her in ways ancient civilizations could never have imagined. The Eclips Girl. Chapter 3, When the Moon Swallowed the Sun. Monday morning arrived with perfect, clear skies. The entire school was buzzing with excitement about the eclipse. Even Jessica and her crew seemed more interested in the astronomical event than in tormenting Maya, which was a relief. At 1:47 p.m., the entire school filed out to the football field. Mr. Kowalski and the other science teachers had set up viewing stations with eclipse glasses and telescopes with special filters. Maya and Zara found a spot on the grass, away from the main crowd. This is so cool, Zara said, adjusting her eclipse glasses. Look, you can already see the moon starting to cover the sun. Maya put on her own glasses and looked up. Sure enough, a dark curve was beginning to bite into the bright circle of the sun. Her heart raced with excitement. This was real. This was happening. Maya. Zara. Daniel Chen was hurrying toward them, carrying what looked like a homemade viewing box. I made a pinhole projector. Want to see? It shows the eclipse without having to look directly up. That's amazing, Maya said, genuinely impressed. The box had a small hole on one end and a white screen on the other, projecting a perfect image of the partially eclipsed sun. I stayed up all night building it, Daniel admitted, pushing his glasses up his nose. Probably overkill, but I wanted to see it from every angle possible. The three of them sat together, watching as the moon slowly consumed more and more of the sun. The light around them began to change, taking on an eerie, silvery quality. The temperature dropped. Birds started their evening songs, confused by the darkening sky. It's getting close, Daniel whispered, checking his watch. Totality in 30 seconds. Maya removed her eclipse glasses as the last sliver of sun disappeared. The world plunged into an otherworldly twilight. The sun's corona blazed around the dark circle of the moon like a halo of white fire. Stars appeared in the daytime sky. It's beautiful, Maya breathed. And then it happened. A strange sensation washed over Maya, starting at the crown of her head and flowing down through her entire body. It felt like electricity and ice water and sunlight all at once. The world seemed to tilt, and for a moment, she could have sworn she saw threads of light connecting everything: the grass, the trees, the people around her, the sun and moon above. Maya. Zara's voice sounded distant. You okay? Maya blinked, and the sensation faded. The threads of light disappeared. Yeah. I'm fine. Just felt weird for a second. Probably just the excitement, Daniel said, but he was looking at her with concern. Totality does strange things to people. Some ancient cultures thought it was a moment when the barriers between worlds grew thin. The moon began to move away from the sun, and light returned to the world. The crowd erupted in applause and excited chatter. But Maya felt different. Changed. She couldn't explain it, but something fundamental had shifted inside her. That was incredible, Zara said as they walked back toward the school building. I can't believe we just saw that. Maya nodded, but she was distracted. Her skin was tingling. Her senses felt sharper. She could hear conversations from across the field, could smell the grass with unusual intensity, could see individual leaves on trees hundreds of feet away. You sure you're okay? Zara asked. You look pale. Just need some water, Maya said. In the bathroom, she splashed cold water on her face and looked at herself in the mirror. She looked the same tangled hair, same plain face, same worn clothes. But her eyes seemed different somehow. Brighter. More alive. She reached for a paper towel, and that's when it happened. The paper towel dispenser ripped off the wall. Maya stared in shock. She'd barely touched it, just reached out, and the entire metal dispenser had torn free from its bolts and was now dangling from her hand like it weighed nothing. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Maya quickly shoved the dispenser back against the wall, but the damage was done. The bolts had been ripped clean out, leaving holes in the tile. She ran out of the bathroom, her heart pounding. What was happening to her? The Eclips Girl. Chapter 4, Discovery. Maya made it through the rest of the school day in a daze. She was terrified to touch anything, keeping her hands shoved deep in her hoodie pockets. Every time someone bumped into her in the hallway, she flinched, afraid she might accidentally hurt them. When the final bell rang, she practically ran to meet Zara at their usual spot by the bike racks. Something's wrong with me, Maya blurted out. What do you mean? Maya looked around to make sure no one was listening, then lowered her voice. In the bathroom, I touched a paper towel dispenser and it just came off the wall. Like I ripped it off without even trying. Zara's eyes widened. What? I know it sounds crazy, but I swear. Show me. What? Show me. Come on. Zara grabbed Maya's hand and pulled her toward the back of the school, where the old equipment shed stood. It was rusty and falling apart, scheduled for demolition next month. Try to open the door, Zara said. It's locked. Just try. Maya reached for the padlock, intending to just touch it. The moment her fingers made contact, the metal lock crumbled like aluminum foil. The door swung open. Both girls stared at the destroyed lock in Maya's hand. Holy! Zara whispered. Maya. You have super strength. This is impossible. This doesn't happen in real life. The eclipse, Zara said, her mind racing. It has to be the eclipse. You felt weird during totality, right? Something happened to you. Maya's hands were shaking. What am I supposed to do? What if I hurt someone? What if I can't control it? Hey, look at me. Zara gripped Maya's shoulders. We'll figure this out together. That's what best friends do. But first, we need to see what else you can do. Over the next hour, hidden behind the equipment shed, Maya and Zara conducted experiments. Maya could lift a rusted engine block with one hand. She could jump and clear the shed's roof, nearly 15 feet high. When she tried to run, she moved so fast she was a blur. This is insane, Maya said, breathing hard. I'm like a superhero. You are a superhero, Zara corrected, her eyes shining with excitement. Maya, do you know what this means? You could help people. You could stop bullies. You could. I could accidentally hurt someone, Maya interrupted. I'm scared. What if I lose control? Zara thought for a moment. Then we practice. Every day after school, we come here and you learn to control your powers. And she paused, a grin spreading across her face. We need to get you a costume. A what? A costume. A mask. You can't go around helping people looking like yourself. You need a secret identity. This is crazy. This is amazing. Zara pulled out her phone. My aunt is a seamstress. She has tons of fabric at her house. We could design something that hides your identity but lets you move freely. Despite her fear, Maya felt a spark of excitement. For the first time in her life, she had power. Real power. Not the kind that came from money or popularity or cruelty, but actual, physical power. Okay, she said quietly. Let's do it. The Eclips Girl. Chapter 5, The Birth of a Hero. Over the next 2 weeks, Maya's life split into 2 distinct parts. During the day, she was still messy Maya, the poor girl with tangled hair who got bullied in the hallways. She kept her head down, endured the insults, and tried not to accidentally break anything when Jessica or Brandon shoved her into lockers. But after school, she was something else entirely. Zara's aunt had helped them create a costume without asking too many questions. It was simple but effective, a dark blue bodysuit with black accents, flexible enough for movement but sturdy enough to last. The mask covered the upper half of Maya's face, with her hair pulled back and hidden under a hood. You look like a real superhero, Zara said the first time Maya put it all on. They practiced every day behind the equipment shed. Maya learned to control her strength, to gauge how much force to use. She discovered she could run at incredible speeds, fast enough to cross the entire football field in seconds. Her reflexes were enhanced too, she could catch a baseball thrown at full speed without even thinking about it. But the most surprising discovery came on a Thursday afternoon. Maya was practicing jumps, seeing how high she could go, when she pushed off the ground and just kept going. Up and up, past the roof of the shed, past the tops of the trees. Maya! Zara screamed from below. Maya panicked, flailing in the air, and then she realized she wasn't falling. She was floating. No, not floating. Flying. Oh my God, she whispered. Oh my God, I'm flying. It took her a few terrifying minutes to figure out how to control it, how to move in 3 dimensions instead of 2. She wobbled and dipped and nearly crashed into a tree before finally managing to glide back down to where Zara stood with her mouth hanging open. You can fly, Zara said. You can actually fly. Maya was trembling with adrenaline and joy. I can fly. Do you know what this means? You're not just strong and fast. You're like the real deal. A real superhero. That night, Maya lay in bed, staring at her ceiling stars, and made a decision. She had been given these powers for a reason. Maybe it was the eclipse, maybe it was fate, maybe it was just random chance. But she had them, and she could use them to help people. She could use them to be the hero she'd always needed. The next day at school, Maya noticed Daniel Chen watching her again. This time, when their eyes met, she smiled at him. He nearly dropped his books, his face turning bright red, before smiling back. You know he's totally into you, right? Zara whispered during lunch. He's nice, Maya said. Smart. He doesn't treat me like I'm invisible or worthless. Unlike some people. Zara glared across the cafeteria where Brandon Mitchell sat with the football team, laughing loudly about something. That afternoon, Maya put on her costume for the first time with real purpose. She and Zara had decided to start small, patrol the neighborhood around the school, look for people who needed help. Remember, Zara said, adjusting Maya's mask. Don't talk too much. Keep your voice different from normal. And if anything goes wrong, you get out of there. Promise me. I promise. Maya took off into the sky, and the feeling was incredible. The wind in her face, the world spread out below her, the absolute freedom of flight. She soared over Lincoln Middle School, over the houses and shops of her neighborhood, looking for someone who needed help. She didn't have to wait long. In an alley behind a convenience store, 3 older teenagers had cornered a younger kid, demanding his money. Maya could hear the boy crying, pleading with them to leave him alone. Her heart pounded. This was it. Her first real test. She dropped from the sky, landing between the bullies and their victim with a thud that cracked the pavement. Leave him alone, Maya said, keeping her voice low and steady. The 3 teenagers stared at her in shock. Who are you? Someone who doesn't like bullies. Maya took a step forward. Walk away. Now. The biggest one laughed nervously. You're just some kid in a costume. What are you gonna do? Maya reached out and grabbed a metal dumpster with one hand, lifting it effortlessly over her head. Want to find out? The 3 bullies ran, stumbling over each other in their haste to escape. Maya set the dumpster down gently and turned to the younger boy. Are you okay? He nodded, eyes wide with wonder. You saved me. Thank you. Get home safe, Maya said. Then she launched herself into the air and flew away, her heart soaring higher than her body ever could. She'd done it. She'd actually helped someone. The Eclips Girl. Chapter 5, The Birth of a Hero. Over the next 2 weeks, Maya's life split into 2 distinct parts. During the day, she was still messy Maya, the poor girl with tangled hair who got bullied in the hallways. She kept her head down, endured the insults, and tried not to accidentally break anything when Jessica or Brandon shoved her into lockers. But after school, she was something else entirely. Zara's aunt had helped them create a costume without asking too many questions. It was simple but effective, a dark blue bodysuit with black accents, flexible enough for movement but sturdy enough to last. The mask covered the upper half of Maya's face, with her hair pulled back and hidden under a hood. You look like a real superhero, Zara said the first time Maya put it all on. They practiced every day behind the equipment shed. Maya learned to control her strength, to gauge how much force to use. She discovered she could run at incredible speeds, fast enough to cross the entire football field in seconds. Her reflexes were enhanced too, she could catch a baseball thrown at full speed without even thinking about it. But the most surprising discovery came on a Thursday afternoon. Maya was practicing jumps, seeing how high she could go, when she pushed off the ground and just kept going. Up and up, past the roof of the shed, past the tops of the trees. Maya! Zara screamed from below. Maya panicked, flailing in the air, and then she realized she wasn't falling. She was floating. No, not floating. Flying. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Oh my God, I'm flying." It took her a few terrifying minutes to figure out how to control it, how to move in 3 dimensions instead of 2. She wobbled and dipped and nearly crashed into a tree before finally managing to glide back down to where Zara stood with her mouth hanging open. "You can fly," Zara said. "You can actually fly." Maya was trembling with adrenaline and joy. "I can fly. Do you know what this means? You're not just strong and fast. You're like the real deal. A real superhero." That night, Maya lay in bed, staring at her ceiling stars, and made a decision. She had been given these powers for a reason. Maybe it was the eclipse, maybe it was fate, maybe it was just random chance. But she had them, and she could use them to help people. She could use them to be the hero she'd always needed. The next day at school, Maya noticed Daniel Chen watching her again. This time, when their eyes met, she smiled at him. He nearly dropped his books, his face turning bright red, before smiling back. "You know he's totally into you, right?" Zara whispered during lunch. "He's nice," Maya said. "Smart. He doesn't treat me like I'm invisible or worthless. Unlike some people." Zara glared across the cafeteria where Brandon Mitchell sat with the football team, laughing loudly about something. That afternoon, Maya put on her costume for the first time with real purpose. She and Zara had decided to start small, patrol the neighborhood around the school, look for people who needed help. "Remember," Zara said, adjusting Maya's mask. "Don't talk too much. Keep your voice different from normal. And if anything goes wrong, you get out of there. Promise me." "I promise." Maya took off into the sky, and the feeling was incredible. The wind in her face, the world spread out below her, the absolute freedom of flight. She soared over Lincoln Middle School, over the houses and shops of her neighborhood, looking for someone who needed help. She didn't have to wait long. In an alley behind a convenience store, 3 older teenagers had cornered a younger kid, demanding his money. Maya could hear the boy crying, pleading with them to leave him alone. Her heart pounded. This was it. Her first real test. She dropped from the sky, landing between the bullies and their victim with a thud that cracked the pavement. "Leave him alone," Maya said, keeping her voice low and steady. The 3 teenagers stared at her in shock. Who are you?" "Someone who doesn't like bullies." Maya took a step forward. "Walk away. Now." The biggest one laughed nervously. "You're just some kid in a costume. What are you gonna do?" Maya reached out and grabbed a metal dumpster with one hand, lifting it effortlessly over her head. "Want to find out?" The 3 bullies ran, stumbling over each other in their haste to escape. Maya set the dumpster down gently and turned to the younger boy. "Are you okay?" He nodded, eyes wide with wonder. You saved me." "Thank you." "Get home safe," Maya said. Then she launched herself into the air and flew away, her heart soaring higher than her body ever could. She'd done it. She'd actually helped someone. The Eclips Girl. Chapter 7, Complications. The attention on Eclips Girl continued to grow. The local news ran stories about her. People started wearing homemade Eclips Girl t-shirts. There was even talk of the mayor giving her a commendation. But with fame came complications. One of those complications was Brandon Mitchell. Maya was at her locker one morning when he approached her. She tensed, expecting the usual insults, but instead he was, smiling. "Hey, Maya," he said, leaning against the locker next to hers. Hi." Maya was confused. "So, I've been thinking. You're actually kind of pretty, you know. Like, if you did something with your hair and maybe wore some makeup." Maya stared at him. "What?" "I'm saying I think we should hang out sometime. Maybe catch a movie this weekend." Zara appeared at Maya's elbow, her expression dangerous. "Are you seriously asking her out right now?" "What?" "I'm giving her a compliment." Brandon looked genuinely confused. "Most girls would be thrilled." "Most girls haven't spent the last year being bullied by you," Zara snapped. Maya found her voice. "You called me messy Maya. You said I was sad and pathetic. You laughed when Jessica made fun of my clothes and my family being poor. And now you want to take me to a movie." Brandon shifted uncomfortably. "That was just joking around. I didn't mean anything by it." "Yes, you did." Maya felt anger rising in her chest, the same anger she felt when she saw bullies hurting people. "You meant every word. And now you think I should just forget all of that because you suddenly decided I'm kind of pretty. Come on, don't be like that." "No." Maya slammed her locker shut. "I'm not interested. Not now, not ever." She walked away, Zara beside her, leaving Brandon standing there looking stunned. "That was amazing," Zara said. "Did you see his face?" Maya was shaking, but she felt good. Powerful. And she hadn't even used her super strength. "He didn't even apologize," Maya said. "He just expected me to be grateful for his attention." Boys like Brandon always do. They think the world revolves around them. In the library during lunch, Maya was still fuming about the encounter when Daniel approached their table. He was carrying his lunch and a book, looking nervous. Hi. Would it be okay if I sat with you guys?" Maya and Zara exchanged glances. "Sure," Maya said. Daniel sat down, carefully arranging his lunch. "I heard about what happened with Brandon. The whole school's talking about it." "Great," Maya muttered. "I think it's cool that you stood up to him. He's been a jerk for years, and nobody ever calls him on it." Daniel pushed his glasses up. "You're really brave, Maya." Maya felt her cheeks warm. "Thanks." They ate in comfortable silence for a while, and then Daniel said, "Have you been following the Eclips Girl story?" "Everyone has," Zara said, grinning at Maya. "I think it's fascinating from a scientific perspective. The eclipse clearly triggered some kind of transformation, but the mechanism is completely unknown. Is it radiation? Some kind of cosmic energy? A fundamental alteration of her molecular structure?" Daniel was getting excited now, talking faster. "And the powers themselves, super strength, flight, enhanced speed and reflexes. It's like something out of a comic book, except it's real." "You've really thought about this," Maya said, amused. "I think about everything too much. It's kind of my thing." Daniel smiled sheepishly. "But yeah, I find it amazing. Whoever she is, Eclips Girl is using her powers to help people. That's really special." Maya felt a warmth spread through her chest. Daniel admired Eclips Girl, not knowing he was sitting across from her. But more than that, he admired the choice to help others. The heroism, not just the powers. "She is pretty cool," Maya agreed. That afternoon, as Eclips Girl, Maya responded to a call she'd heard on a police scanner Zara had bought at a thrift store. A fire had broken out in an apartment building, and people were trapped on the upper floors. Maya flew to the scene, her heart pounding. This was bigger than anything she'd handled before. Real danger. Real stakes. Smoke poured from the third-floor windows. She could hear screaming inside. Without hesitation, Maya flew through a window, the heat washing over her. Her powers seemed to protect her from the worst of it, but the smoke was still choking. "Help! Someone help us!" A woman's voice, coming from a bedroom. Maya found her huddled with two small children, trapped by flames blocking the doorway. "I've got you," Maya said. She scooped up all three of them, they weighed almost nothing to her enhanced strength, and flew back out the window. She made 3 more trips, rescuing 2 elderly residents and a man who'd been trying to fight the fire with an extinguisher. By the time the fire department arrived, everyone was safe. The fire chief approached her as she set down the last resident. "You saved their lives. All of them. Thank you." Maya nodded, too overwhelmed to speak, and flew away before the news cameras could get too close. Back in her regular clothes, meeting Zara behind the equipment shed, Maya collapsed on the ground, shaking. "I did it," she whispered. "I actually saved them." "You're a real hero," Zara said, sitting beside her. "A real, actual hero." Maya started crying, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming emotion of it all. For so long, she'd felt powerless. Worthless. Like she didn't matter. But she did matter. She could make a difference. "Thank you," Maya said to Zara. "For believing in me. For helping me. I couldn't do any of this without you." "That's what best friends are for," Zara said, rapping. The Eclips Girl. Chapter 8, The Reporter. Sarah Chen was the editor of the Lincoln High School newspaper, the Patriot Press. She was also Daniel's older sister, a fact that would become very important. Sarah was ambitious, driven, and determined to be a real journalist someday. She'd been following the Eclips Girl story obsessively, collecting every news article, every eyewitness account, every piece of footage. And she'd started to notice patterns. Eclips Girl had first appeared the day after the solar eclipse. She seemed to operate primarily in the neighborhoods around Lincoln High School. And most tellingly, she'd never been seen and Maya Rodriguez in the same place at the same time. It was a crazy theory. Maya Rodriguez, the poor, bullied girl who could barely stand up for herself. A superhero. But the more Sarah investigated, the more the pieces fit together. She started following Maya, discreetly. She noticed how Maya and Zara would disappear after school, heading toward the old equipment shed. She saw how Maya had started carrying herself differently, more confident, more aware. And then, one afternoon, Sarah followed them to the shed and hid behind a tree. What she saw confirmed everything. Maya, in her Eclips Girl costume, is practicing her powers, flying, lifting impossible weights, and moving at superhuman speed. Sarah's hands shook as she recorded a video on her phone. This was it. This was the story that would make her career. She'd be the journalist who revealed Eclips Girl's secret identity. But as she watched Maya and Zara laughing together, as she saw the joy on Maya's face as she flew through the air, Sarah hesitated. This wasn't just a story. This was a person's life. Her brother's crush, actually. Daniel had been talking about Maya non-stop for weeks. Sarah thought about all the times she'd seen Maya bullied in the hallways. All the times she'd watched other students mock her for being poor, for her appearance, for existing. And she thought about Eclips Girl, the hero who'd saved lives, who'd stopped criminals, who'd given their community hope. Did she really want to destroy that? Sarah wrestled with the decision for days. The journalist in her said this was news, that the public had a right to know. But the human in her, the sister who'd watched Daniel's face light up whenever Maya smiled at him, knew that revealing this secret could destroy Maya's life. In the end, ambition won. Sarah convinced herself that she was doing the right thing. That transparency was important. Heroes shouldn't hide behind masks. She wrote the article carefully, laying out all her evidence. The timeline. The patterns. The video footage she'd captured. It was thorough, professional, and devastating. She titled it, Unmasked, The True Identity of Eclips Girl. And she scheduled it to be revealed at the most significant possible moment, the school assembly on Friday, where the entire student body and faculty would be gathered in the gym. The Eclips Girl. Chapter 9, The Unmasking. Friday morning, Maya woke up feeling good. She'd stopped a mugging the night before, and the victim had hugged her, crying with gratitude. She'd aced her English test. And Daniel had asked if she wanted to study together for their upcoming science exam. Life was actually starting to feel good. She met Zara at their lockers, and they walked to the gym together for the mandatory assembly. Principal Hernandez had said it was about celebrating student achievement, which usually meant boring speeches and awkward awards. The gym was packed, the bleachers filled with students. Maya and Zara found seats near the back, with Daniel sitting a few rows in front of them. Principal Hernandez gave her usual welcome speech, then introduced Sarah Chen. Sarah is the editor of our school newspaper, and she has a very special presentation today about a topic that's been on everyone's mind, Eclips Girl. Maya felt a small flutter of nervousness, but she pushed it aside. There was no way anyone could know her secret. She and Zara had been so careful. Sarah took the microphone, and Maya noticed she looked nervous. Guilty, even. Thank you, Principal Hernandez. As you all know, Eclips Girl has become a symbol of hope for our community. She's saved lives, stopped crimes, and inspired us all. But today, I'm here to reveal the truth about who she really is. Maya's blood ran cold. No, Zara whispered beside her. No, no, no. Through careful investigation and analysis, I've discovered Eclips Girl's secret identity. Sarah pulled up a slide on the projector screen. It showed a timeline, comparing Eclips Girl's appearances with Maya's schedule. She first appeared the day after the solar eclipse. She operates primarily in this neighborhood. And she's never been seen at the same time as one particular student. Another slide. This one showed a photo of Maya at school next to a photo of Eclips Girl in costume. Chapter
Eclips
10,
Girl is
Aftermath.
Maya Rodriguez.
The assembly
gym
ended
erupted
in
in
shocked
chaos.
gasps and excited
Students
chatter. Swarmed Maya,
Every
some
head
wanting
turned to look
autographs,
at Maya,
some
who sat
apologizing for
frozen
how
in
they
her
treated
seat,
her,
her face
some just
pale.
wanting to be near someone
I
famous.
have video
evidence.
Zara
Zara ran
continued,
interference,
and the screen
helping
showed
Maya
footage
escape
of
to the
Maya in
hallway.
costume,
Practicing
They found
her
an
powers
empty
behind the
classroom
equipment
and
shed.
locked the door.
Maya felt like she
was.
couldn't breathe. Maya couldn't
This
even
couldn't
finish
be
the
happening.
sentence. This
Insane,
wasn't real, Zara supplied.
Maya.
Completely
Zara
insane.
grabbed her hand.
Daniel stood
Maya,
up for me.
we need to go.
Maya was still
Now.
processing it, but Maya couldn't
In front
move.
of the entire school.
She watched as the video
He's been
played,
in love with you for
showing her
months,
flying,
girl.
showing her lifting
Of course
impossible
he
weights,
stood up for you.
showing everything.
There was a soft
Daniel
knock on
had
the
turned
door.
around in his seat,
Maya,
his face a mixture of shock
it's
and
Daniel.
something else. Was that
And
all?
Sarah.
Jessica
Can we-
Hartwell was
can we
staring at
talk?
her with her mouth open. Maya looked at Zara.
Brandon
who
Mitchell
nodded.
looked like he'd been slapped.
They opened the door. In conclusion, Daniel
Sarah
and
said,
Sarah stood
her
there,
voice wavering
both looking
slightly.
nervous. I believe the public has
Sarah's
a right
eyes
to know
were
who their
red,
heroes
like she'd
really
been
are.
crying.
Maya
I'm
Rodriguez
so sorry,
is Eclips Girl,
Sarah said
and
immediately.
Stop. I thought I was doing
The
the right
voice
thing,
came from the
but
gym
Daniel's
entrance.
right.
I
Everyone
was
turned
just
to
being
see Daniel
cruel.
Chen standing up. I
His
was so
face
focused
red,
on
but
his
his voice
story that I
strong.
forgot about the person.
This is wrong,
Maya
Daniel
didn't
said,
know what to
walking
say.
down toward the gym floor.
I've already deleted the article.
Sarah,
you're my
continued.
sister and I love you,
But
and
this
I'm
is
resigning
wrong.
as editor of the newspaper.
Daniel,
sit down.
what I did
Sarah
was unethical
said.
and wrong,
No.
and I need to face the consequences.
Daniel turned to face the assembled
You don't have to
students.
resign, Maya said
Maya
quietly.
Rodriguez has been bullied
Yes,
every single
I
day
do.
since she started at this
I
school.
hurt you.
She's
I
been mocked for
violated
being
your
poor,
privacy.
for her appearance,
I need to
for
make this
existing.
right.
And despite
Sarah
all
wiped
of
her
that,
eyes.
she chose to use her
I'm
powers to
truly
help
sorry,
people.
Maya.
To save people.
You're an
amazing person.
She
and
could
you
have
didn't
used them
deserve
for
that.
revenge,
but she didn't. After Sarah left,
She
Daniel
became a
lingered in
hero.
the doorway. His
That
voice
was
was
really
shaking
brave,
now,
Maya
but he kept
said.
going. What you
And
said
now
in there.
you want to take away the one
I
thing
meant
that
every
made her feel
word.
powerful.
Daniel pushed
one
his
thing that
glasses
let
up
her escape
nervously.
the
constant cruelty.
Maya, I've wanted
That's
to
not
talk to you for
journalism.
so long, but I
That's
was always
just another
too scared.
form of bullying. You're so
The
smart
gym had
and
gone
kind,
completely
and I'm
silent.
just me. Maya,
Just
Daniel
you.
turned to look at her directly.
Maya smiled through her tears.
I don't care if you're Eclips Girl
Daniel,
or not. You stood up to a bully
I
for a
care that you're
freshman you didn't
kind.
even know.
That you're smart.
You just defended me in front
That
of the
you help
entire
people
school
with their
homework even when they've
You're
been
one of
mean
the
to you.
bravest
people I know.
That you read poetry
Really?
and love astronomy and have the
Really?
most beautiful smile
They
I've ever
stood there
seen.
for a moment, just looking
Maya
at each
felt
other.
tears streaming down her face.
So, Daniel said,
You're a hero with
would
or
you maybe
without
want
powers.
to study together
Daniel
sometime?
finished. For
And
real,
anyone who
I
can't
mean,
see that is an idiot.
not just as an excuse
For
for
a
me to
long
be near
moment,
you.
nobody moved.
Maya laughed.
Then,
I'd
slowly,
like that.
someone started clapping.
Zara cleared her throat loudly.
It was Mr. Kowalski,
Okay,
the science
this
teacher.
is adorable,
but we need
then
to
another
figure out
teacher
what happens
joined in.
next. Then a
The
student.
whole school knows Maya's secret
Then
now.
another.
The
Soon,
whole school
the
knows
entire
an Eclips
gym was
Girl,
applauding,
Maya corrected.
and Maya sat there crying
But
as her
maybe that's
classmates,
not a bad thing.
many of whom had ignored
What
or
do you
mocked
mean?
her, gave her a standing
Maya
ovation.
thought about Daniel's words
Principal
in the gym.
Hernandez took the microphone
About being
from
a
Sarah.
hero with or without powers.
I think we need to have a serious
About
discussion
standing
about
up for what's
privacy
right
and
even when it's
responsibility.
scary.
But
I've
right
been
now,
hiding.
I want
Maya
to say
said
something to
slowly.
Maya Rodriguez.
Hiding behind my hoodie.
She looked
hiding
directly
behind
at
my
Maya.
mask.
You have
But
shown
maybe it's
extraordinary
time to
courage,
stop hiding.
both as Eclips Girl
Maybe
and
it's
as yourself.
time to show people that heroes
This
can
school,
look like anyone.
this community, is
Even
lucky to
poor
have
girls
you.
with messy hair.
And I promise you,
Over the
we will
next
do
few
better.
weeks, Maya's life
We will be
transformed
better.
in ways she never could have imagined. The bullying stopped completely. Jessica Hartwell actually apologized, a real apology, with tears and everything. She admitted she'd been cruel because she was insecure, and seeing Maya be so confident despite having less made her feel threatened. Brandon Mitchell tried to apologize too, but Maya could tell he was more sorry about missing his chance with Eclips Girl than about how he'd treated messy Maya. She accepted his apology but kept her distance. The school implemented new anti-bullying policies. Principal Hernandez started a program where students could report bullying anonymously, and counselors were brought in to help both victims and bullies understand the impact of their actions. Maya continued being Eclips Girl, but now she didn't have to hide. She could be herself, messy hair and all, and still be a hero. She started a self-defense class at school, teaching other students how to stand up for themselves. She gave talks about using your power, whatever kind of power you have, to help others. And she spent a lot of time with Daniel. They studied together in the library. They went to the planetarium on a date and spent hours looking at the stars. They talked about science and poetry and what it meant to be a hero. You know what's funny? Maya said one afternoon as they sat together on the roof of the school, she'd flown them up there. I spent so long wishing I could be someone else. Someone pretty and popular and powerful. And then I got powers, and I realized I was already all of those things. I just couldn't see it. I saw it, Daniel said softly. I always saw it. Maya leaned her head on his shoulder, watching the sun set over their town. Zara was down below, probably texting her to stop being so sappy and get down here already. Thank you, Maya said. For seeing me. The real me. Thank you for letting me, Daniel replied. The Eclips Girl. Chapter 11, The Real Power. 3 months after the assembly, Lincoln High School held a special ceremony. The mayor was there, along with news crews and what seemed like half the town. Maya stood on the stage in her Eclips Girl costume, but with her mask off. She'd decided she didn't need it anymore. Maya Rodriguez, the mayor said, on behalf of our city, I want to present you with this commendation for bravery and service. You've saved lives, stopped crimes, and inspired countless people. You're a true hero. The crowd applauded as Maya accepted the plaque. But when it was her turn to speak, she had something different to say. Thank you for this honor, Maya began. But I want to talk about what it really means to be a hero. For a long time, I thought being a hero meant having powers. Being strong, being fast, being able to fly. And those things are cool,
don't get me wrong. Laughter rippled through the crowd. But I've learned that real power comes from something else. It comes from standing up for what's right, even when you're scared. It comes from being kind when the world is cruel. It comes from seeing people, really seeing them, for who they are, not what they look like or how much money they have. Maya looked out at the crowd and found the faces that mattered. Zara, grinning with pride. Daniel, looking at her like she hung the moon. Her mother, crying happy tears. Mr. Kowalski nodded approvingly. My best friend Zara has been defending me from bullies since the day we met. She didn't have super strength, but she was strong. Daniel Chen stood up in front of the entire school to defend my privacy. He didn't have powers, but he was powerful. My mom works 2 jobs to give me a better life. She can't fly, but she's my hero. Maya's voice grew stronger. So yes, I have superpowers. But the real power, the power that matters, is something everyone has. It's the power to choose kindness over cruelty. To choose courage over fear. To choose to help instead of hurt. She held up the plaque. This doesn't belong to just me. It belongs to everyone who's ever stood up to a bully. Everyone who's ever helped someone in need. Everyone who's ever chosen to be a hero, powers or not. The applause was deafening. After the ceremony, Maya found herself surrounded by people wanting to talk to her, to thank her, to tell her their stories. A young girl told her that seeing Maya be a hero despite being bullied had given her the courage to report her own bullies. A boy said he'd started standing up for other kids at his school because of her example. You're changing the world, Zara said later, as they sat together on the roof of Maya's apartment building, watching the stars come out. We're changing the world, Maya corrected. I couldn't do any of this without you. That's what best friends are for. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, and then Maya said, Do you remember that day? The eclipse? How could I forget? It changed everything. I used to think the eclipse gave me powers, Maya said slowly. But now I wonder if it just unlocked something that was already there. Not the super strength or the flying, but the courage. The belief that I could be more than what people said I was. Deep thoughts for a Friday night, Zara teased. I'm serious. I think we all have power inside us. We just need something to help us see it. For me, it was the eclipse. For Daniel, it was seeing someone he cared about being hurt. For you, it was being a good friend. For Jessica, it was seeing that being cruel didn't make her happy, Zara added. She's actually been really nice lately. It's weird. People can change, Maya said. I'm proof of that. You didn't change. You just became more yourself. Maya smiled. Maybe that's what real power is. Being brave enough to be yourself, even when the world tells you you're not enough. Her phone buzzed. A text from Daniel, looking at the stars and thinking of you. Did you know that the light from some of those stars has been traveling for millions of years just to reach us tonight? Kind of like how I waited months to tell you how I felt. Worth the wait though. Red heart. Maya laughed, showing the text to Zara. He's such a nerd, Zara said fondly. But he's your nerd. Yeah, Maya agreed, her heart full. He is. The Eclips Girl. By Sylvester Sko. Fourroux. Epilogue. 1 year later. The 1-year anniversary of the eclipse fell on a Saturday. Lincoln High School organized a celebration, complete with a science fair, astronomy presentations, and a viewing party for the partial eclipse that would be visible that afternoon. Maya walked through the school hallways, amazed at how different everything felt. The walls were covered with anti-bullying posters. There was a kindness corner where students could leave encouraging notes for each other. The atmosphere had fundamentally shifted. Maya. Over here. Daniel waved from the science fair booth he'd set up. His project was about the theoretical physics of superpowers, using Maya as a case study, with her permission, of course. "This is amazing," Maya said, looking at his detailed charts and equations. "I'm trying to figure out the mechanism behind your powers. I have a theory that the eclipse created a temporary quantum field that interacted with your specific genetic markers, but I need more data." Daniel was in full science mode, talking rapidly. "If we could understand how it works, maybe we could help other people develop abilities, or at least understand the limits of yours better." "You're brilliant," Maya said, kissing his cheek. He turned bright red, even after a year of dating. Zara appeared with 3 cups of punch. "Okay, lovebirds, break it up. We've got an eclipse to watch in 20 minutes. They headed out to the football field, where hundreds of people had gathered. Maya saw her mom talking with Mr. Kowalski. Jessica Hartwell was helping set up eclipse glasses for younger kids. Sarah Chen was there with her camera, documenting the event for the school newspaper. She'd been reinstated as editor after a semester of proving she'd learned from her mistakes. "Can you believe it's been a year?" Zara asked as they found a spot on the grass. "Feels like a lifetime ago," Maya said. "And also like yesterday." "You've saved 43 people," Daniel said. "Stopped 22 crimes. Inspired countless others. Not bad for a year's work." "We've done all that," Maya corrected. "I couldn't do any of it without my team." As the moon began to move across the sun, Maya thought about everything that had changed. She'd gone from being the bullied, invisible girl to being a hero. But more importantly, she'd learned that she'd always had the power to be a hero. The eclipse hadn't given her that. It had just helped her see what was already there. "Do you think it'll happen again?" Zara asked. "The powers, I mean. Do you think someone else will get them?" Maya watched the eclipse, remembering that moment of transformation. "I don't know. But I hope if it does, they use them the right way. To help people. To make the world better. Like you did," Daniel said. "Like we all can," Maya replied. The eclipse reached its peak, and the world took on that strange, silvery quality. Maya felt a tingle, like she had a year ago, but nothing changed. Her powers remained the same. But as she looked around at the people gathered, her mom, her best friend, her boyfriend, her teachers, her classmates, even former bullies who'd become friends, Maya realized she didn't need any more powers. She had everything she needed right here. "To the Eclips Girl," Zara said, raising her cup of punch. "To friendship," Daniel added. "To be brave enough to be yourself," Maya finished. They clinked their cups together as the moon slowly moved away from the sun, and light returned to the world. Maya Rodriguez had learned that real power wasn't about super strength, flying, or being invincible. Real power was about choosing kindness and standing up for what's right, being true to yourself. And that was a power everyone could have, eclipse or not. The end. Be sure to like and subscribe to Sko's Media YouTube channel for more music and stories by Sylvester Sko Fourroux.